All right, guys, we're going to be talking about the slice push dink today. Keep in mind that anytime that you're looking to be offensive or be aggressive with your push dink, make sure that you have your slide, you're stable, you're in the correct location, and that the ball is in yellow. A couple other things with hitting a push dink. Usually you need time. Also too, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back and letting the ball sit up a little higher to give yourself some more time or give yourself some more spacing to let the ball sit up a little higher so you can start using that push dink. But as far as using slice with the push dink, how I think of slice is, you know, if there was a clock in front of me, and let's say, you know, here's 3 and here's 9. As I'm hitting a forehand dink, I want to start at 3 and I want to take it to 9. Also to know that when you're getting slice, it's natural spin and you don't want to overcreate. I would say one of the main common tendencies is that I guess most people seem to think that more is more, meaning that they try to add or they try to overcreate with their slice dink. Know that a little bit of spin goes a long ways, and we're looking to get natural spin. Natural spin meaning, you know, 3 to 9. I'm not chopping wood. It's not a Nike swoosh. I'm not, you know, throwing water up in the air. If I was standing in water up to my hips here, I want to focus on keeping the paddle above the water. As I'm hitting a backhand slice dink, you know, same sort of idea. I want to really focus on cocking things up on both sides. You know, whether it's the forehand side or the backhand side. I think being very firm with the wrist is a key technique nugget as you're hitting the slice push. But also too, as I'm hitting this backhand slice push, I want to be leading with my knuckles, or if there was a watch on my right wrist, it's like I'm looking at my watch, so I get that nice kind of firm cock position there. But backhand slice, I'm starting at 9, going to 3, keeping this nice and tight. Another area that you can think about is keeping the overall swing or keeping the swing path inside of your hips. So not only are we going 9 to 3, but we're thinking that as we dink and as we're in our athletic stance here, that we want to try to keep the overall finish or keep the overall start and the finish inside of our hips. So as I'm hitting this slice dink and I'm thinking about a clock being on the ball, as I'm hitting a forehand, I really want to think about almost catching the ball at like 5 or 6 o'clock. I'm kind of giving like the butt of the ball a little soft tissue massage. But as I'm doing that, I'm going through it. I'm not going down on it. I'm not flipping it up. Backhand side, same sort of thing. I'm more so, or I guess backhand side, we're thinking, you know, 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock on the ball. Main thing is that a little bit of spin goes a long ways, and that if we're going to use the push dink and be efficient with this push dink, we need time and we have to be stable in the correct location, and the ball has to be in yellow. All right, guys, first drill here. I'm acting as a student. My job is to be hitting push dinks with using slice spin. My teacher's job here is to be hitting push dinks and just putting dinks in play. Keep in mind some of the technical things that we're working on the push dink is giving ourselves enough time, recognizing that if we don't have time, or if we're off balance, or if we're in the wrong location, that there's no need to hit a push dink. And then also too, keeping the theme of 3 to 9, keeping it nice and level. I also like to talk about if there's a ball in my armpit, I should be able to keep that ball in my armpit as I hit a push dink. Why? Because my technique is going to be inside my hips. I think another common tendency is people tend to take too big of a swing in here and don't recognize that less is a lot more, and I can get plenty on my push dink just from inside my hips versus going outside the hips, okay? So push dink here, I'm going cross court. Technique is gonna be 3 to 9. Slice push dink, I'm keeping this elbow nice and lodged. I'm aiming a little lower over the net, okay? And as I aim a little lower, my job is to be aiming for this, you know, we'll call this like the pressurized zone. If I were to take this out a foot, this little zone in here, a foot out from the kitchen line, is going to be the pressurized zone. I can force my opponent to feel indecisive if I can aim a